Today I'm going to show you guys how to get this type of variegation out of a plant that looks like this. Typically when we're selling plants like this for between $50 and $100 per leaf when the variegation is perfect. But a plant like this that has very low variegation, especially on the newest leaves, that's how these plants are priced, on the newest leaves and what you can see. But I'm going to show you guys how to get the best deal possible when you're hunting for these plants. And this applies to almost any variegated plant, but it definitely applies to variegated Monstera like the Albo as well as the Ticon. So these plants are priced upon what you can see on the leaves. So when I take a plant like this to an Albo show or something in person, or even shoot it for online purposes, I can only really sell it for what I can see here, or what the consumer can see here. And honestly, right now in this plant pricing of late 2023, this plant probably wouldn't go for more than like 30 bucks. But this and the next tip are the way that you can really get a great deal on one of these Albos. And it's all about what's in the stem and the very next leaf that's coming. So you're gonna go to the top leaf of the plant, so this plant. You can look along the stem and see the oldest plant, the cutting leaf, all the way up and see all these kind of crappy looking leaves that will make the price even cheaper. And you get up to this top leaf. And when you get to the top leaf, you're going to turn it around and look for the point along the stem. It's going to be a little dot. So this dot right here, and you can see the leaf that's going to be coming through. The very next leaf has a ton of white in it. So this is kind of the insights I give to people at our retail shows when they're looking for a really great deal, but they don't have a ton of money to spend, but they really want a great plant. I can't sell this plant for that much, but the next person that holds on to it, that's why we're holding on to it, they will get a very beautiful coloring out of the stem. And also I know what kind of variegation I'm going to get from the next leaf. Because it's mostly a block pattern of variegation with a little bit of striping, I know it's going to have something, not maybe dead half moon like this one, but it's going to have a big block of variegation along this leaf, which is going to increase the value of this plant immediately, maybe to about 100, 120 bucks across the whole plant, which is a really good return on your purchase. And it's a really great way to get a deal. And here's another great example of version 1 of hunting for variegation. I have no variegation on these leaves. A little splotch here. This seriously, in this climate, is like nothing more than a $10 or a $20 plant. But look to the stem, what is coming. Again, go to the newest leaf, this one here, and look up the side of it. A ton of variegation and striping coming up along. And this one's gonna have a really good marbling through the stem. But the second way also has to do with the stem. Same thing, I wouldn't list this plant for probably more than like 60 bucks or something, or wouldn't be able to sell it for more than that. But if you look at the stem, and when you're buying plants, ask the sellers to show you the stem, because this plant actually has half moon potential. Look in the inside there, all white. That means this plant will put out all white coming next or coming soon. Or if you're in person, take a look at the stem. On the next strategy, we're gonna look down the stem even further. So this one, we've got two really green leaves here off of this node, and then it was cut back here, and this is the old leaf that was attached down below here. This kind of indicates to me that the new node that we cut for, we didn't do a great job and we kind of missed the mark. But what was down here below actually had better variegation, and that's indicated by the stem colors. So another way to do this is to buy a green Albo Monstera like this, or a Ticon without much coloring, but look for the striping in the stem. And once you find it, we're gonna cut it. And also because of all this green, I have a huge root mass here, which is another great advantage of having a bunch of green leaves on the plant at that time when you buy it. So look along this stem, you can see all the striping along the stem. On the new stem that came out from this node where we cut, almost no coloring or no variegation along the stem. And we want some form of variegation. So we're gonna go down the stem beyond this node that we cut at and go just below it. So right here, you have all the striping just below where we cut. So below this node, there's this eye right here, which is the axial bud. We want to trigger this to start growing. So what we're gonna do is cut off what's above it. So we can grab our shears and cut. So here's our bud. We're gonna cut just above it so that it triggers it to grow. There we go, we have the plant severed. We could actually replant this so it all sticks together, but as I said, this is kind of a valueless plant in terms of a saleable plant. Obviously, it's a beautiful Monstera still. we're after exactly this node right there. And the little eye, I used to call it a pimple, but people on the internet got really mad. So I'll just call it the eye, the axial bud. And that's what will come out and be an entirely new branch. And what we'll do is replant this back into the pot because there's actually a good amount of striping along the stem also. But what we want is this lower node. That's what we're after. It's also the advantage of buying a plant that has some striping with a bunch of nodes. Just keep an eye down the stem. They always alternate left, right, back and forth as they go down the Monstera stem. So find those nodes and you could get a plant like this for, I said, like 10 to 20 bucks maximum. So I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, please click the like button down below. It'll encourage me to make more plant documentaries when I have time. This last week of life has just been absolutely crazy, but I will get back to doing the heavy edits in the plant documentary series that you guys have been enjoying so much. And for everyone new to the channel, welcome to the channel. My name is Chris. I run a houseplant company here in Los Angeles, and I make plant documentaries and how-tos for you so you can learn how to grow aeroids faster. So thank you everyone for watching this week's video. Click the like button down below and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.